Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to part two of the Cigar Salute. This is the Wineador episode. Now, the image you are seeing is of my personal Wineador. This is coming off of a HD projector that I received for Christmas as a gift from my lovely girlfriend. And I just happened to stumble upon this 65-inch screen at Staples last weekend, and it actually extends out further to 80 inches. But this will do for now. Still waiting for some accessories for the projector, like a better tripod for it and whatnot to come. So I should have those off Amazon in short order, and hopefully I can get a better setup here, but this will do for now. It's been a long time coming. I've wanted to be able to better illustrate certain things to you guys, and hopefully this will become an important tool in the ways I can help you. All right, so right now we are looking at my personal Wineador, okay? And the funeral card you see in the top left corner is a co-worker of mine. He passed away a couple of years ago. Rest in peace, Big Murph. And that's the beautiful thing about a Wineador. So you can see right off the bat what kind of setup I went with here. All right, this is the New Air 280 model, and I think there's a couple of letters after it, which depends on whether you get the black exterior like I did. You could see the laser pointer pointing to the bordering, or you can get that same cooler in chrome on this part. These parts will all be chrome. It really depends on how you want to accessorize it with your house, how it matches your furniture and whatnot. I personally like black. It goes with everything, you know. And you can see the top there. That's the cool thing about Wineadors, is that you can put whatever you want on the top. It's completely up to you how, creative you want to be, or if you just want to leave it naked on top, that's up, that's fine too. That's the beautiful thing about cigars and cigar culture, is that, no two things have to be the same. So here we got 4 shelves right here that are drawers. All right. Now this bottom one right here, it has an extended bottom to hide the space underneath. And what Dr. Joe had recommended, and what some people do, is if they go the Cigar Oasis or the Heartfelt Beads or whatever, other form of humidification they want to use besides Boveda, they would store it underneath this drawer. And that is a beautiful feature to have. I believe it cost a few extra dollars to get that drawer done that way on wineadors.com. As you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4 drawers for singles, and then I have 1 and 2 shelves for boxes. Okay, now let's take a look at the very top. Okay, so right here, this is just a quick close-up of how I have the top of my humidor decorated. All right, you could see in the past life I was a merchandiser. Just various boxes I've collected over the years, and just some nice looking matchboxes that I collect from lounges and whatnot. This right here is Matador Cigar Lounge. They have a few locations on Long Island where I'm from. Probably the best lounge on the island, if you want my personal opinion. Just various assorted boxes and everything. I think this is just a real cool thing about having a Wineador, that you have this, you have the space, a conventional desktop humidor. Obviously, you can't put anything really on top of it because, it opens from the top, and unless you get drawers and whatnot. But, just like I said, a Wineador makes a great conversation piece and whatnot. It just looks extremely presentable, and I'm always getting compliments on it when people come by, and I just, it's been years and I still love looking at this thing. So let's open it up, shall we? Okay. We will start from the bottom and work our way up So let us start with, first, we'll start with an open door view of the Wineador. All right, that's a better look at the shelving and whatnot. The option I went with, I did not get my shelves varnished or lacquered, I should say, excuse me. You could see that even just the bare wood looks great. I didn't even bother to have any knobs put on the shelves and whatnot. Just those slats are good enough. You know, they open up very easily. There's, you know, just a tiny bit of resistance when you pull. Forrest did an amazing job fitting them to the cooler and whatnot, so they, you know, have never given me any grief in the almost half a decade that I've owned them. What I will remind you of, what I talked about in part one of this video, is that when you get the Wineador, before you put any cigars in it, it must be seasoned for, you know, the humidity and everything, and also you want to wipe it down with a wet rag after taking the shelves out, just to make sure that any, you know, plasticky odors that are present do not infect your cigars and taint them, because that is a very real possibility if you do not do this. It could take some time, depending on what kind of shelving you get. It could take some time to get this thing properly seasoned. I highly, highly recommend that. Even if, you know, I noticed some of the ready-made units, I noticed they have hygrometers on one of the shelves, and the analog kind. I highly recommend you purchase 2 digital hygrometers and store one at the top, one at the bottom. I have one hygrometer in this drawer, and then I have another one in this drawer here. So they're always just about dead even. And like I said, I use Boveda packs. I'll show you in a minute, shelf by shelf. We're going to start from the bottom, and I personally organize my cigars mostly by country of origin and type. So we'll start with the bottom shelf, and that is my Fuente drawer, as I like to dub it, because it is mostly Fuente products, and most of my Connecticut rolls are in this drawer also, and anything Cameroon I have, and anything Dominican I have. I try to keep the Dominicans all in the same section. So you can see I have a I have a hygrometer in the corner here. I got some Opuses right here, and we got Ashton ESG. I think that's a 22-year salute. Great cigars right there. This is a very highly underrated cigar here. I know that you might not be able to see the bands very well, and I apologize for that. This is a Nat Sherman 1930. It is a Dominican Puro. It is a fantastic cigar. Okay. I believe that Michael Herklotz at Nat Sherman, I believe he partnered with the Manolo Casada for this cigar. So if you run across this or the Nat Sherman Timeless, I highly suggest you check it out. This is the Ashton Symmetry, another great cigar. I got a cabinet selection here, a VSG. I got a Fuente, I forget which one that is, right here. I got a couple of Don Carlos right here, a Casa Cuba, Undercrown Shade, Oliva, Connecticut. I'm not sure what that is. That was a, excuse me, that was a gift. This right here is a Gurkha 15-year Cellar Reserve, I believe. Various Opuses over here. This is a Lost City. I got a Power Ranger hiding under this ESG. Various other Fuente products. This is about 2 or 3 layers of cigars here, and my apologies, I did not pull out layer by layer, but I want you guys to take a quick look. You could see the slats in the drawers on the side and on the bottom and everything like that. From what I noticed from the prefabricated units you could buy at the store, they also had slats like this, but they did not come in the micro channels, kind of like this over here. So just make a note of that. These shelves were custom built by Forrest at wineadors.com. Oh look, I got a couple of aging room Quattro F55s hanging out in the back. I don't know if those are still around. I think maybe they ran through that batch already. But anyways, let's move on. I think I got some more close-ups of this particular shelf. Let's take a look. All right. Okay, cool. So yeah, you can see the bands better here. You know, like I said, some Opus, Ashton, the 1930, Nat Sherman, and just a lot of great cigars on this shelf, man. Some of these cigars have been aging for a long time. So that Ashton, the VSG especially, man, I've had that thing for like over half a decade in there, so that thing's probably ripe for the picking. I can't. It's just such a beautiful cigar. I'm as much of a collector as I am a smoker, man. I absolutely love the artwork that Ashton puts out. I mean, look at the ESG wrapper. Have you guys ever seen that wrapper in its entirety? I know I have a couple on my Instagram. You guys should really take a look at that band if you've never seen it. And just the wrappers on these are beautiful, man. Just, I fucking love cigars. So, this is a, you know, you might look at this and be like, what the hell's wrong with this guy? You know, like just throwing Boveda bags in there. That's the beauty of Boveda, man. You just set them and forget them, you know. You could see the hygrometer in the bottom. I had the doors open for a while, so the humidity was reading around 60. I know you can't see it in the picture, and the temperature is about 69. It's about 70 degrees in my apartment currently. So the ambience is just fine. The temperature... the humidity shot right back up within an hour of me shutting the door again. But you can see I use about 2 to 3 Boveda bags per shelf on the Wineador. All right, and that'll do you just fine as far as maintaining humidity. That's once you get it stabilized. All right, the important thing is 2 things are going to happen. First, you're going to season your humidor. All right, and you're going to do that without any cigars inside. You're going to bring it up to a little bit higher humidity than you want it to be, because when you load this thing with cigars, the humidity is going to drop. All right? And I would recommend maybe while you're transitioning over to the Wineador from what you were previously using, I would recommend that you do it gradually. Maybe put in a 30 or cigars at a time. Give the humidity a chance to balance out. Add cigars gradually. All right, you know, you don't want to shock the cigars, and you don't want to overwhelm whatever kind of humidification system you have going in your Wineador. All right, once you get the humidification stabilized and you have it loaded, you should be pretty good. All right, and how easy or hard that will be to maintain, it depends on what system of humidification you choose. You know, I personally... You know, I just, like I said, I'm not so much an accessories guy. A lot of people swear by the Cigar Oasis. And, you know, maybe it's great. You know, if anybody has one, you know, maybe you could leave a comment, talk about your experience with it, if you think it's worth it or not. But for me, Boveda bags, especially, you can see right here, you know, I tend to keep my American market non-Cuban cigars at a little higher humidity than, I like to have the 69 bags in with the American market cigars, and I leave the 65s in with the Cubans. But you can see I got 2 69 bags and a 65 here. The 60, you know, since Boveda bags are 2-way, the 69 depletes quicker than the 65, but the 65s stay charged longer. 65 is really where I want things. I add the 69s to A, add life to the 65s, and B, to counteract any dryness in the air that comes with the wintertime like we have now. All right, so even with the 69s in, the Wineador does not go above about 66, 67% humidity, which is fine by me. And in the summertime, I'll remove the 69s if I find the humidity getting too high, and then it'll stay about the same in the summertime. So just keep in mind, I'm highly recommending Boveda, and I've never really tried anything else other than before I went to Boveda. Excuse me. I used humidity pillows, but I had about 20 of them in there. These humidity pillows are like, you get them at some B&M shops. They're about $1 each, and basically you dip them. They're like little pillows that you dip in distilled water. They absorb the water. You put them in a plastic pouch, and then you just set them just like a Boveda bag kind of. But you don't really put them directly on the cigars. You kind of just tuck them in the corners of the shelves. You know, like you'd have one over here, you'd have one over here in this corner, no, you know, and then maybe another one in the back somewhere. But they drain very quickly, and you gotta keep filling them back up with the water and everything, and it's just Boveda is so much easier. And another thing, don't buy your Boveda bags at a B&M store unless you're only getting one or two, because you'll get ripped off, man. You know, the markup at the store is just not worth it. You can go directly to Boveda's website, and you can get 4 packs of this size bag. I forgot what grams this is, but the 4-pack will run you about $15, around that neighborhood, because I know I paid about $32 for 8 bags last year. So, you know, keep that in mind. I just in a rush when I was making this video, I wanted to, you know, make sure I had fresh bags in and whatnot, and I went to the B&M store. I wound up paying almost $50 for 8 bags, which, you know, that could have been 2 more cigars. But all right, so let's go over to the. Oh, I wanted to show you real quick. Okay, here is, you could see the false bottom. You know, I don't know if if you could see it in the picture. Hopefully you can, but you can see right here that this is the false bottom that extends. This is the top of the drawer in this corner, and this is the very bottom. So it extends well past the bottom of the drawer, which is where, right under where this slat is that lines into the shelf. But this is perfect for hiding a cigar oasis or a bowl of heartfelt beads, or more, you know, bigger Boveda bags, because they make very large Boveda packs as well, and you may want to consider that instead of the smaller ones. But my personal taste is the smaller ones. But, you know, this is a good option to have. It looks great, and you know, even if you don't use any humidification down here, you just use them on the shelves like this. You could use it to store lighters, cutters, maybe even another box or two if you wanted. You know, tuck a Boveda pack inside a box. You could store it at the bottom over here. But it's just nice. It's a nice little option to have. It's worth the extra money. So the next drawer up that we have is twofold. All right, and you can see I put a little divider right here. So on the right hand side over here, we have my Maduro collection. And you can see I have a nice little Padron section going. And thank you, Anthony, for this 1964, brother. I appreciate that very much. Got a lot of Liga Privada. This is a L'Atelier. This is a Abe Flores. It looks very eerily similar to the L'Atelier, I'll tell you that much. This is an old school Camacho right here. Before Davidoff took him over, if I'm not mistaken. This is a La Flor Dominicana, La Noche. This Lugione MJ12 Maduro. We got Undercrown, and then the thing I noticed about this is a Liga Privada Dirty Rat, and I believe I have a Flying Pig under there also. But the thing about Liga Privada is that some people say that they are better young, and I bought this a little while ago, and I left the cellophane on it specifically so I could stunt the aging process to taste it while it's a little fresher, you know, to see if aging it with the cellophane makes it taste better. We'll see. I'll get back to you guys on that. I got some Viajes over here, and this is, can you guys tell I like Illusione? Oh, look, the Liga Privada, it somehow made its way over to the Illusiones. I got to fix that. Typically, I separate my Maduros because Maduros tend to be more oily. Maduros tend to have a stronger aroma at times, and I don't like them bleeding onto my other cigars. I notice that I'm very sensitive to that when I taste cigars. Sometimes if it was, you know, if I had a lighter blend or lighter tobacco next to something heavier like this, sometimes I could taste it, you know, if it was sitting next to that for a while. So I like to have my Maduros nice and separated to keep the Maduro flavors untainted by other cigars, and other cigars untainted by the Maduro flavor. All right. And I used to be a big Maduro guy. I don't know about you guys, but especially when I first started, I was a huge Maduro guy, and my tastes have shifted as I've gotten older and more experienced. We'll do a little close-up on some of those Padrones. This is the 45th anniversary. This was, I believe, Cigar of the Year in, I want to say, 2009. You know, Padron, I think they've won number one Cigar of the Year from Cigar Aficionado 3 times or so. I think they hold the record. But as far as Padron goes, I'm a little bit of a diva. I'll be honest, man. um, Padron, I'm definitely into the Burgundy label, the Family Reserve series, and I only do the Maduros typically. The naturals are good, but like the Family Reserve series for me is really the bee's knees. That's the best of the best that you can get for Padron. It's and Padron already. I mean, even the 1964 is no slouch either. This is a great cigar as well. Anything Padron makes is quality. But these these are like special occasion cigars, and they're some of the best cigars you could possibly buy from anywhere, Cuba included. Excuse me. The Family Reserve series, I would highly suggest that you smoke it on a full stomach. It's definitely something to smoke after a nice steak dinner with a glass of your favorite beverage or whatever. But I will tell you that this cigar is so smooth, yet it has a lot of strength. And if you're not, you'll sit there smoking it, and you'll get up to go to the bathroom or something, and you'll be like, whoa, I'm lightheaded. It's so smooth that you don't realize how strong it actually is, and that's just a testament to how great Padron's tobacco really is, and how strong Nicaraguan tobacco can be. Let's face it. So over here, got a little close up on some of the ligas and everything, and I'm sorry that I didn't pull out the cigars and whatnot. I promised you guys a tour of my Wineador, and it's just I really just it's a lot to take out all the cigars and show you guys everything, because these layers, I don't know if you could tell from the pictures, they go 3 or 4 down right here. So I got some in Fuente and Añejos hiding out down there. I got some old school, one of the first cigars I ever really loved, that really elevated my passion for cigars and for me to want to dive into them more way back in 2011. The Perdomo 10th anniversary Maduro. One of the cigars that really, really hooked me on this culture, man. And they don't make them anymore. I think it's the Champagne series now, but I would highly suggest if you can find something like that, then you check it out. And also we have here my Illusiones and whatnot, and the Lone Liga over here that's in timeout. I gotta put that back over there. It's my cigar OCD. Like I said, I like to keep my Maduro separate, so I took a couple of spacers from cigar boxes. That's also cedar right there. Took a couple of spacers, stacked them up to divide the Maduros from all my Illusione and various Aganorsa cigars. Ironically enough, I don't think my Casa Fernandez is mixed in there. It's pretty much every Vitola and most of the cigar lines that Dion Giolito's come out with over the years. Maybe besides his most recent ones, which I will surely catch up on at some point. All right. So that about does it for the second drawer from the bottom. And here we come to the Cuban drawer. Yes. And this to me is beautiful. And I got to be honest, man. The last year or so especially, I've primarily been smoking Habanos. All right. And you could see I got pretty much almost every brand that is in current production, and some that aren't even in current production. So we got El Rey del Mundo right there, the Choice Supreme, a great lighter cigar. I love that lighter Cuban flavor, man. I really do. It's very special. I really can't find it in any other type of cigar, to be honest. Over here is a La Flor Decano, gifted to me by my friend Anthony Pellegrini. Anthony, thank you so much, brother. Been real good to me, man. Great guy. And make sure you check out his forum on Facebook, the Cuban Exchange. It's a good place to meet other Habanos aficionados, and real good place to trade and swap and sell and buy Cuban cigars. And the guys that are admins, like my friend Anthony over here, he he'll look out for you, make sure you don't get ripped off, and if anybody's trying to pull any bullshit, you'll get tossed out with a quickness. So onward we march. We got Romeo and Juliet, Short Churchill, Fonseca Delicias, Partagas D4, Partagas, Super Partagas, great cigar. Smoked one about a week or two ago. Ramon Iones, specially selected, Punch Punch, Hoyo Epicure number 2. Got a couple of H. Upmans right here, Sakani A right next to it. Juan Lopez number 2, St. Louis Rey Regio, one of my favorites. This is a Bolivar Gold Medal, La Casa del Habano, Belicosos Finos by Bolivar also. I got some Monty 2s. I think there's a number 4 on top also. Over here I got a Cohiba Medio Siglo, which came from Finest Cuban Cigars. I got a Bejique circa 2013, I believe. I think it's a 2012 or 2013. I want to say 13 though. Great fucking cigar. This has the old style band. It doesn't have some of the holograms that the newer Bejiques have. And under those, I got some Siglo 2s. And right here is a Cohiba Robusto from Cigar One years ago. And that's got the old style band that you can see on it. Over here, a couple more gifts from my boy Anthony. Johnny O, and I got a Jose El Piedra, Ramon Iones, Small Club Corona, and Bolivar Coronas Jr. I got some custom rolls down here, one from Santos, one from Hamlet, and I got a Hoyo de Monterrey double Corona. I got a H. Upman Sir Winston down there somewhere. I got some pretty cool rare shit. I got some older Edición Limitada Ramon Iones, some Hoyo de Monterrey Edición Limitadas. No regionals. That's not really my game these days, but you can see I got a pretty solid selection of singles right there, and that's really where it's at for me. I don't, I'm not a big box guy, but I am starting to purchase more boxes. But I like to have, like I said, I'm a collector as much as I am a smoker. So I do enjoy, collecting all the different brands and everything. And it's just, I don't know, I love opening this up and just breathing in the aroma and taking a look at the bands and everything. It's just, the presentation of a Wineador, in my opinion, just cannot be beat. Just having access to all the, it's just, and I mean, really, not even just a Wineador, any sort of cabinet style shelf unit like this is just, to me, it's a collector's wet dream. So, got a little close up of some of the Cohibas and other, this is the right side of the shelf, of the drawer, excuse me. You can see in some of these Cohiba bands right here, you can start to see the little holograms showing and whatnot. We also got a little demonstration also of the slats over here on the bottom, and you can see that these shelves and drawers, they hold quite a few cigars. I want to say there's about 300, give or take, cigars in this humidor right now, and could probably fit another 100 if I really tried. All right. On to the next picture. So that's the other side. Just as you can see, various different brands we already went over. All right. Now this is my Nicaraguan drawer. This is the top drawer. All right. And above it are two shelves, but we'll go over this real quick. You can see right here the temperature. I shut the window, so it went up to 70.2. The humidity, okay, 59%. Obviously, that went up again. Like I said earlier, after I had shut the door, I had the door open for a good 15 minutes or so while I was taking pictures to show you guys. But I just want to make sure that you guys, again, I want to reiterate, it's very important that you get two hygrometers, because the amount of space in between the top shelf and the bottom shelf, there could be a variation of humidity, all right? And you'd want to detect that, because, when too low of humidity, we all know what happens. The cigars, they dry out and they taste like shit, and they don't smoke correctly and everything. But that happens also when they get too wet. And when they get too wet, they get moldy, or even if they don't get moldy, they start to burn like shit and they taste bitter. So it's better to leave them a tiny bit dry than it is to leave them overly moist, in my opinion. But you don't want either one to happen. It's very, it's relatively easy to keep them at a good equilibrium at a quality smoking temperature, right? So let's dive into what do I got here. I know there's a lot of goodies on this shelf, man. I really got to plunder this shelf in the near future because there's quite a few smokes that I see right now that are begging to be smoked. So we got over here, we got a lot of cigars by Warped. All right, so we got the Guardian of the Farm, the Corto, and over here we got a old school Padilla cigar with the old style logo before La Aurora made them change their logo because of the intellectual property infringement or whatever. Padilla used to have a lion as their logo on the bands, and if you see Padilla now, they've changed their band to have just kind of like a old school baseball style logo, and maybe sometimes they have a little lion on the bands, but it's not the same one as the old style bands. If you could find any of the older style Padilla cigars, get them just for the bands alone. They are great cigars as well, keep in mind, but the bands are just fucking regal, in my opinion. I can go all day talking about that. Okay, I believe this is a La Flor de la Antillas, the 2012 Cigar Aficionado Cigar of the Year, made by My Father Cigars. I believe this one was given